Hey folks, this is Jake Davis with an on-the-fly review for you. And today I'm talking about Orphan First Kill, released, I think, last month. Directed by William Brent Bell, who did the Boy movies, those two films, one with Lauren Cohen and the sequels with Katie Holmes. I enjoyed the first film just because its third act was so batshit insane and ridiculous. Kind of loved it. This movie stars Isabel Fuhrman and Julia Stiles. Spoilers right here as far as the first film, Orphan, goes, because this movie damn sure assumes you've already seen that movie. So if you've never seen it, don't watch this video. Go watch Orphan. It is a terrific horror film from 2009 starring Vera Farmiga. This movie is First Kill isn't really a good reference because it's not the story of her first family or her first murders, but it is just a title to tell you that this is a prequel because, again, an orphan, Esther's not going to come back for a sequel. She gets definitively fucking killed at the end of that movie. So Esther, we hear her real name in this, I think. But she's a serial killer and a dwarf. And basically her MO is she goes to an orphanage, gets adopted, and then plots to murder the family while seducing her new dad. Very twisted bitch. This movie is basically her just going through her MO in an earlier family, another rich family, the matriarch of which is played by Julia Stiles. They actually think Esther is their long-lost daughter who was abducted by child traffickers. And has finally been found. But of course, the new family are not who they appear to be, as is Esther. I enjoyed this film, had a lot more fun watching than I thought I would. I thought it did a good job at achieving similar identical concept that Don't Breathe 2 from last year failed at. Now, despite really what Don't Breathe 2 only really had going for it is the unstoppable, impeccable awesomeness that is Stephen Lang. Other than that, it's not worth watching. It's not as great as the first film. The first film was absolutely great. So what we have here is we have our established, sick, twisted, demented fucking killer from the first film, but now set in a new situation where they are more of our hero because we have them paired off against an even more vile evil, kind of clashing with each other. Don't Breathe didn't work because we were never given a reason to really root for the blind man, always protecting the girl. Well, the girl he stole? I mean, he's still a kidnapper and a rapist. Why are we rooting for this guy under any circumstances whatsoever? Yeah, he just wants to see Stephen Lang beat the shit out of a bunch of dudes, but they weren't worse than he was. And his goals, his motivations weren't redeeming in any way. Here we're not trying to redeem her, Esther. We just see her going through what she usually goes through, but then you realize the family she is with are even worse than she is in their own way. I thought it was great. I thought Julia Stiles was terrific. I thought Isabel Fuhrman did a good job. And as far as, yes, the first thing when you hear this movie's coming out, you have to think of what's going to be the situation. She was a little girl playing someone disguised as a little girl in the first film. Now she's, 13 years later. She's a grown-ass woman. She's literally twice as old as she was then. The movie was as old now as she was when she did it, is my point. So, how they get around it? Well, they get around it the most simplest and oldest of Hollywood movie effects. If it's not a close, they use forced perspective for scenes when she's acting with other actors, and when it's not a close-up for longer shots, they use an actual little girl whose face you don't see. Why not? Why rebuild the wheel? Anyhow, I would definitely recommend this movie. Like I said, I had a lot of fun watching it. I thought it failed at what previous horror sequels have attempted in the past. Don't Breathe 2 isn't the first one to try this concept either, by the way. But I really enjoyed, Isabel Furman coming back as Esther was good. Julia Stiles was terrific, and then she wasn't as compelling as Vera Farmiga's character, or Sexy, holy shit, as Vera Farmiga is, but she's not playing the same kind of mom either. It's a fun movie. Enjoyed it a lot. Highly recommended, but 4 stars because it's a silly horror sequel. A movie, despite how much I enjoyed it, still is a film that wasn't necessary. You know what I mean? Anyhow, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Just kind of realized how incredibly bright I've been this whole time. I'm Jake Davis, and I'll catch you on the fly.